Just a couple of years ago, Mitro was considered one of the best fighters in all of Europe. Today, he's just an afterthought of the Fortnite competitive scene, from making his dreams come true in the Fortnite World Cup at a young age to being crowned a champion. Mitro's prime was not like anyone else's, but to understand just how insane his prime really was and why it's a shame people forgot about him, we need to go back all the way to the beginning of 2019 when he started to emerge as a Fortnite World Cup frontrunner. Unlike many of your favorite Fortnite pro players today, Mitro was winning big very early on into the competitive scene, taking home first with Mongrel in the Lux Cup and third in the World Cup warm-up, proving these two were going to be a problem for anyone standing in their way. By this time, Mitro had amassed over 100,000 followers on Twitch, and his YouTube channel was starting to take off as well due to the publicity of playing with Mongrel, who was a global sensation at the time, and he still is. But what really tarnished Mitro's legacy at this point in his career was mainly his struggles in solos. Him and Mongrel were dominating weekly qualifiers of the World Cup, qualifying multiple times for the finals and duos, but solos was a big problem for Mitro, with his best placement only being 25th through multiple weeks of qualifiers. But to Mitro, as long as he was dominating in duos, he was satisfied with that, which is exactly what they did, winning thousands of dollars on a weekly basis. Many people anticipated this duo to not only be a true contender, but to place very highly in the Fortnite World Cup finals, and maybe even win the whole thing altogether. The two were perfect for each other, and were a fighting force like no other. Mongrel's insane mechanics,
this new keyboard makes me edit slow,
and Mitro's ability to pre-fire through walls made them nearly unbeatable in a fight, until they got to the Fortnite World Cup finals, that is. You see, LAN is a completely different environment, not only because of the thousands of fans screaming as loud as they can, but because you are out of your comfort of your own home and the pressure is weighing down on you, especially for a team as popular as Mongrel and Mitro. And despite all that, they played incredible and took home 6th place. Now, they definitely would have wanted to win the whole thing and take home the $3 million bag, but if you ask anyone about their performance, they would have told you that they played amazing. The crowd would go insane at any time they showed up on the screen, and $225,000 Mitro took home only made it sweeter. But most importantly, his prime had just begun and he had no signs to slow down. After the Fortnite World Cup, people questioned what direction Fortnite would take for competitive, and nobody would have guessed what Fortnite had been cooking up. They planned to release FNCS, the new competitive championship that was played on every region and served in place of a World Cup. With the game mode changing every season, it would start out with trios for the first time ever, and little did everybody know, the trios game mode was made for a player like Mitro, because he finally would be able to get someone like an IGL so he could focus on his fighting. So for Season 10, Mongrel and Mitro would pick up Benji Fishy, forming the fan favorite MMB trio, who would go on one of the most dominant yet disappointing runs in Fortnite history. The dominance would start right off the bat in week 1, when they placed second in the weekly finals, cashing in on $19,000 each, which would just be a small fraction of their winnings from this season. Over the course of the 4 qualifying weeks, they would win 3 of them. No, not only 1, not only 2, but 3. And in the week they didn't win, they got second, completing one of the most insane runs a duo has ever had, leading into grand finals. Not even Peterbot from today could have done what these 3 were able to do every single week. But now it was time for them to prove if the hype was real, and they would start playing in the lobbies that really mattered, which was the grand finals. Through the first 2 heats, they got first place 2 times, making them an almost 100% chance to place first or second in grand finals. But as some of you may know, this is not what happened. And in fact, this turned out to be one of the biggest flops in Fortnite history. Why, you may ask? One word: mechs. Because, you know, Fortnite had the greatest idea of all time, and that was to not take out the mechs for competitive, and especially not the grand finals. The MMB trio were chased around by mechs and finished in 10th, a complete and utter disappointment for all 3 of them. But for Mitro, this meant a new opportunity, and his prime wouldn't be defined by crazy FNCS wins or winning a LAN, but how he was able to bounce back from this adversity time and time again and prove he was still at the top of his game. As Chapter 2 rolled around and Squads was the new FNCS game mode, Mitro decided to split from Mongrel and form a squad with Kinzel and CRR, which proved to work out great, until it didn't. Just like the previous seasons, Mitro played incredible in the qualifiers, winning thousands of dollars, but placed 13th in the grand finals, and well, he did it again. Mitro had placed decently in the FNCS Invitational after a bad grands placement in Chapter 2 Season 2 with CRR and duos, but was unable to carry that solo momentum into the solo FNCS in Season 3, placing 3rd 38th in grands. Now, at this point, you may be thinking Mitro's prime was trash, and he never did anything good, and you might be right, but I mean, he flipped a new leaf in the next season, and that was because it was the Stark season. Stark season was one of the most played Fortnite seasons ever, and the coverage and viewership Mitro got during this time would be like none other. His montages were pulling millions of views, he was averaging tens of thousands of viewers on Twitch, and well, his teammates were Mongrel and Tayson. Mitro's prime up to this point was an interesting one, because he got 6th in the World Cup duos, went insane in Season 10 qualifiers, and then dudded the next 3 seasons. Mongrel had the same problem. He did good, but also, underperformed from time to time, and that's why they picked up the perfect IGL, Tayson. Tayson was the solo champion from Chapter 2, Season 3, and it was the perfect fit. Not only would this trio go on to make for some of the most popular clips in Fortnite history, but they would prove to be one of the most dominant ever. A few weeks into the season, Stark Industries was added onto the map, the most stacked POI of all time, giving this team the loot they needed to win almost every single game possible. They would kick it off with a first place in the FNCS warm-up, but they were just getting started. As a trio, they were obviously amazing, but Mitro started to play really well in solos as well, with a 2nd place in Wild Wednesday, which, if you didn't know, was actually a really fun cash cup back in the day, and it was like made of these random game modes. But Mitro getting 2nd place, W Mitro moment. But he wasn't only a Mickey Mouse player in the Wild Wednesday, he also got 2nd and 4th in the platform solo cash cups that season, proving he was yet again a top player and was trying to peak in solos. Now, as for true FNCS, they wouldn't be quite as good in the qualifiers as Season 10, but they played great, placing 7th, 1st, and 11th, which punched their ticket into the heats, where they ended up placing 3rd in their heats, easily qualifying to the grand finals. As you've already figured out, nothing really matters for Mongrel and Mitro up to grand finals. They had become notorious for playing absolutely amazing in the qualifying weeks and heats, but never seemed to get over the hump in grands. But this is when it all changed for them. Fueled by tens of thousands of people watching their streams over the course of the entire event and posting weekly YouTube videos amassing millions of views, Mitro and his trio were the hottest thing in Fortnite. If you opened up anything that had to do with Fortnite, you would hear about Mongrel, Mitro, and Tayson. And to prove how insane it was, Mongrel would see the most viewers on a grand stream in Fortnite history, averaging 93,000 viewers and peaking at over 120,000 viewers during the stream. And this time, Mitro and his team would live up to the hype, creating some of the most memorable moments while they dominated the lobby, and Mitro finally won his first FNCS Grand Finals. This period from World Cup to now is known as Mitro's prime, and nobody will argue with you on that. But where did it all go wrong? How did someone at his highest level just instantly fall off? Well, the answer to that is not as clear as you may think, and there's actually a strange reason to why this happened. After the incredible FNCS win, it almost felt like the career of Mitro had finally been fulfilled. His Twitch was going crazy, his YouTube videos were averaging millions, and now he was a champion and considered one of the greatest Fortnite players ever. For Tayson, this all meant nothing. His goal was to stay winning and stay on top and run it back for another FNCS win with his trio, but Mongrel and Mitro had other plans. Like I just said, it felt like their careers had been fulfilled, and this is all they were missing. This caused both of them, but especially Mitro, to stop grinding the game after their win, but what came next, nobody was expecting. Nobody really knows how this happened, but they immediately became obsolete to everyone they were playing against. Some people blame this on the pump being overpowered, while others can point to the skill of the average player rising drastically in Season 5. Because of Tayson being uninterested in playing with them, Benji Fishy was back with Mongrel and Mitro, meaning the dominant trio of MMB was looking for redemption. On paper, this trio was just as good as any contending team, but in reality, they were dysfunctional. They did not qualify to a single weekly finals and could not even make it out of opens by week 2. The same thing happened the next season, this time with Milan, and it was now 2 seasons in a row they couldn't even make heats. They had just won FNCS, and suddenly they weren't even able to make a weekly finals. After their FNCS win, Mitro would only make 1 more grand finals in his career and had one of the most unexpected fall-offs, but one of the best primes of any player ever, and remains a mystery to many. I wanted to inform you guys on how good Mitro's prime really was and what happened to him after the win. If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe with notifications on. I'm going to try to be uploading a lot more frequently, and if someone ever asks you how good Mitro was in their prime, please send them this video. If you guys did enjoy this, click on the screen because you'll probably enjoy that one too, and be sure to use code Tycho at the Fortnite item shop. Thank you.